Well, welcome to SoCal Sports Report's weekly podcast. John Stellman, along with Vince Morales, Corey Woodward with us. And John is cavorting around Florida and Arizona and places unknown, pretending to be a... I don't know what.
Yeah, he's quite the cavorter.
He said he was doing the WMO, and I asked him if that was the Western Montana Open. So.
The waste of time management.
Right. Yeah. But that is the most enjoyable tournament. You know, it's the complete opposite of the Masters.
Yeah.
Well, that makes it pretty casual.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we do every week, before we get started, we're going to run through our topics real quick, give you folks a chance to... figure out what you want to listen to and maybe what you might want to tune out. Lead off with the Clippers, who finally grabbed the headline with that six-player trade today, sending Blake Griffin to Detroit. We'll get deep into that. Then we'll get to the Super Bowl, which comes up Sunday, and that's going to be another Tom Brady production. I might talk about the Pro Bowl a little bit. I watched a part of it, but that's never a big audience show. Vlad and Trevor Hoffman entered into the Hall of Fame. We'll get into that. Clayton Kershaw is doing a lot of politicking this last weekend, trying to bring you back to Los Angeles. He had several quotes at Alhambra and at Dodger Stadium. Also, we'll look at the NHL All-Star Game. We had a pretty good representation by the Ducks and the Kings. The Pacific Division won that $1 million championship. USC with 6 straight wins going into the big game against UCLA this weekend. Trojans hanging right on Arizona's tail, and they seem to be maybe peaking right at the perfect time. Tiger put in a good performance at Torrey Pines. We'll see if it's consistent, if he can follow that up. But he had a 72, 71, 70, 72 round, which is not bad. We'll look at the Hot Stove League, although I don't really think there's a heck of a lot to look at right now. I went over some stuff on the computer today. I don't see too much action. It's surprising to me with the opening of spring training on, the 14th of February for a lot of teams. Look at the chaos in Cleveland and see how that's going to affect LeBron James. I know the front office and locker room have both been tumultuous. See what if that hurries LeBron's exit or if he's going to try to endure all that. Also, the Paul George thing might have taken a turn here. They're playing the OC Thunder are playing pretty good right now, and he might have second thoughts about leaving a team that's won 8 in a row and is right in the thick of the race to come to the Lakers. But we'll lead with the Clippers and get the thoughts of our guys here on the trade of Griffith. Bryce Johnson, Willie Reed go to Detroit for Tobias Harris, Avery Bradley, and Boban Marjanovic. It was a dump.
2 picks.
A first round and a
protected first round and a second round.
And a second round in 19. Looks like a big salary dump to me, but we'll start off with Vince and just see what his thoughts are on this move.
Well, it's not only is it trying to liberate them from that gigantic 5-year, $171 million salary, with which there will be 4 years left.
Right.
And $130 to $138 million. It gives them 2 first-round picks, unless for some reason it's Detroit doesn't right the ship and that gets in the lottery. For me, it's more of a personality dump. They were, 6 months ago they were saying this is the face of our franchise, and essentially for all the nonsense that the Clippers have gone through for these years and how bad they've been. Yeah, Blake Griffin was the face of their franchise.
Exactly.
And when Chris Paul left, I think they panicked. They panicked and they signed him this gigantic contract. But I think we agree this is the right move.
It's a great move.
They even told him his jersey was going to be the first Clipper jersey raised in the Staples Center.
Right, they put his face on T-shirts with like Martin Luther King and Albert Einstein and Muhammad Ali, pioneer.
This has got Jerry West's thumbprint all over it, though. This is Jerry West beginning to build the next Golden State Warriors, right? I mean, this is
very well could be.
This is a great move. Plus, they got some gems. They actually got a gem with Avery Bradley, right? Avery Bradley is the number one in the league solo defensive member in the league. He gives up like less than 1/2 a point per solo guarding, right? I mean, that might be, hey, you're going to be on Steph Curry. I mean, maybe they're looking at the playoffs and saying, hey, we have at least one shutdown, sort of a shutdown corner.
Well, they get Beverly back next year, who's a great defender. Right. They'll be in good shape.
Right. I mean, you've got maybe build it through defense.
No, I agree. There are plenty of reasons where, as somebody who's not, a dyed-in-the-wool Clippers fan, I'm a Lakers guy, and I'm looking at it and being objective about it. I never liked Blake. I always thought he was sort of a punk.
Mm-hmm.
He obviously has made some bad decisions. He punched the, trainer, guy in the organization. He's just, he's shoving coaches. I never really liked the guy, but there are plenty of Clipper fans who were mourning this. Now, this could go terrific, or it could fail spectacularly.
I believe. I mean, anything with Jerry West's name on it is not going to fail. Right, that guy has done nothing but win since the day he stepped on a basketball court.
It could. I mean, well, it just depends on what the end game is. Bradley is free agent at the end of the year, right? So they have some expiring contracts, right? Yeah. Which is what they're doing.
About $17 million.
Harris and Marjanovic are both on the books for another year for 19,
right?
Which frees them up next year. Could free them up for the summer. Now, but I look at that, and you look at that Gallinari contract, the DeAndre Jordan, that's $45 million right there. Obviously, the player option for DeAndre at the end of this season. Does he opt out? What I'm saying is that there's a little error margin here.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you just sent the face of your franchise away. I personally think it's great, but I'm also looking at it, trying to be objective about it. And there's a possibility that if the free agents don't come, this could still be a pretty good team if they keep who they get and add to it. Defensively, it's better.
It's going to be better.
It's already
going to be a better team. I'm telling you.
Defensively better. The Pistons are better. I mean, I think the Pistons are better.
The Pistons are going to be extremely mediocre, right? They're going to be competitive. They're going to make the playoffs, and then they're not going to proceed through it, right? Just like the Clippers, because the Pistons have become the Clippers of yesteryear, right?
Right. Except they're playing in a nice
softer little
arena, but nobody's showing up.
Right.
Yeah, they were okay. They just hit a bad stretch, but they knew they needed to blow it up there. They knew they needed to blow it up. But it's fascinating because I don't think everybody was in agreement that the Clippers needed to blow things up.
Right.
I was one of those guys on there thinking that once Chris Paul left that they were going to have to consider it. But this just freed up so much money for them to get in the sweepstakes or even get into the discussion for Paul George, LeBron James, whoever, is whether they want to re-sign DeAndre.
But without a superstar, can they attract name free agents?
Jerry West. Jerry West has banners hanging in the Staples Center because of the Lakers. He's got banners hanging up north in Golden State. I mean, he is the architect, the best architect in the history of basketball, right?
They clearly signed him and gave him a $4 million or $5 million deal for a reason, and I agree with that. But there's also that part of me that says, look at poor Kevin Towers, who just died 56 years old. Jerry's not young. He could be the architect, but somebody's got to be. So is it West's deal? Is it Lawrence Frank's deal? It's clearly not Ballmer's, because Ballmer was the guy pushing to re-sign Blake Griffin.
And I don't think Doc Rivers had anything.
Well, clearly Doc has had nothing to do with this.
As president or former president.
I think the fallout, what happens next? I mean, I think it's really easy to kind of sit here and say, wow, it's okay, Clippers fans, pick your head up.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. This puts you on the track to get to the playoffs this year, to turn things around a little bit. It helps you in the future. It frees some things up. It could attract some free agents. That's easy to say, but I'm not going to be the one who says it's an absolute home run. I think that there is this margin there that could just blow up for them.
They've had, 5 straight 50-win seasons. Last 6 years have been the playoffs. When will they have their next 50-win season? This could be...
It'll be next season.
This could be the... Well...
So, Corey, let me ask you. I mean, you feel pretty confident about it. We're hearing other things about contracts that they're trying to move. They're trying to say, oh, well, we'll trade Williams, but we'll try to attach... or Gallinari, a big
I would
contract.
trade Williams right now. He's never going to have more trade value.
There's no question. But you can't
Williams.
trade Sweet Lou without trying to dump a contract like a
Right.
Gallinari or an
attach
Austin
something to
Rivers.
it.
You gotta right. It's got to have an anchor along with it.
Right.
Then what happens to the team? Right.
And they say DeAndre Jordan could be on his way out of town as well.
Well,
But
Cavs were inquiring about
Right.
Jordan. I'm just telling you, the absolute genius of Jerry West and being able to pick out players that people don't really. It's not a superstar player, right? The team that he assembled
Right.
up in Northern California were guys that we had no idea. Well, I mean, most people, the standard fan, didn't know who Draymond Green was and didn't know who Thompson was. Didn't know all these guys. They know Steph Curry, but Steph Curry wasn't an absolute superstar until he got surrounded by guys that Jerry West found for him.
I mean, Harris is scoring 18 points a game,
18.
right? That's a pretty good contract. 15 million for 15 million. One more year with that kind of scoring, and Bradley, not only is he just a shutdown defender, but he's
18 points a game, right?
He's scoring 15 points a game.
Yeah.
I think it's great, and especially if you start to look at it and you say, okay, this is a guy who's Blake Griffin, who's missed 99 games over the last 3 years plus this year. Right. So I'm looking at it. He missed 15 games, 47 games, 21 games, and then the 16 this year. That's over the last 4 years. Right. That's not counting the first year after he was drafted,
when he never played,
where he missed completely. Right. Did play 82 games that rookie season, then another 80 and 80, and so it looked like he was healthy and strong, but he's getting hurt more and more. Yeah. And at 28, there's a lot more mileage on that body. Then
he plays hard, right?
Yeah, he plays hard and above the rim.
You can't help the club from the tub, as they say, right?
No, absolutely not. That's right. You cannot. And especially when they're asking him to be the point forward in the fourth quarter, bringing the ball up, that just wears on you. Ask LeBron how that, what that's like.
Ask Kobe, right? Same sort of thing.
Yeah.
What does Detroit think they can make a run in the East? What's their?
I think they have to.
This is a huge contract for them to accept. I mean, they must have an idea that,
Well, Van Gundy was saying today that he thinks it's a steal for them. I mean, in that
for Detroit,
they've got a face to their franchise. A big star, a guy who is still, and Blake Griffin. I mean, 23 points per game, 8 rebounds. That's off a little bit from his season last season. 5.4 assists. He is a top 15 player. Yeah. And that's how he's viewed there, and he's gonna put butts in seats if he's playing. Right. If he's healthy when he's there. And it's not I think from their perspective, they look at it and say, these types of superstars don't just fall in your lap.
Right.
It's a total different viewpoint than what's happening with the Clippers front office, who are saying, we don't need to have all of that money socked into one guy.
Right.
We can spread it around to these role players.
Right.
Do you think the Clippers had buyer's remorse as soon as he signed that contract? They're like,
absolutely.
I need to get rid of this
absolutely.
right off.
Absolutely. Yeah, in the front office, absolutely. But I live next door to a family that's Clipper fans. And one of the kids is, 14, 15 years old. He was just heartbroken when Chris Paul left. And so when they re-signed, they got DeAndre Jordan signed, and that was all secure, and they re-signed Blake Griffin. He was very happy. But again, it's sort of a superficial happiness, right? He still wants that team to win.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Would he be happier that Blake Griffin's on the team, or happier if they win a ring? Right. It's when you win a ring.
I think when you're 14, he might be happier with Blake Griffin. But from our point of view, as grown-ups, it's a little different. You'd rather have a winner. You'd rather have a ring and hoist that banner.
Right. I'd rather be the Baltimore Ravens with nobody on the team that I know and still have a Super Bowl ring.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? I think that we've sort of seen the Clippers trying to supplant the Lakers, and the thing that just I just hear that little chirp in the back of my mind is, what if they don't? What if this is like, oh my God, it's the Clippers all over again?
Exactly.
And again, I get it, Jerry West, because as a Lakers guy, Jerry West was the guy. He had his thumbprint in Golden State. He's got his signature on this.
Just look at it though. When he was with the Lakers, right? They got the stars. You got Shaquille O'Neal, right? Jerry West
made the Kobe deal?
Right, Kobe deal. Jerry West. Jerry West does all those. When he was up north, they get Kevin Durant, right? Why did Kevin Durant sign with Golden State? Because of Jerry West.
Right.
Right? Because Jerry West knows how to set the stage. He knows how to make guys play as a team, right? He's got all these superstars together, and he can make them get to the goal. He can show them the goal. He's going to bring a superstar to Los Angeles. They're going to play in a Clippers uniform, and Clippers will hang a banner. I bet everything I got on it.
You heard it. There
you go.
There you go. Write it down.
Yep. Write it down. Tape it.
Mark that tape.
All right.
The one last thing that I wanted to interject here was that, when Magic came back to the Lakers, it was they want to return to Showtime, and that was sort of their mindset. And Detroit might want to head back to the Bad Boys,
right? And have somebody that
perfect,
can bang,
right?
Yeah,
it's perfect,
absolutely.
Right? Blake Griffin kind of has that feel about him, that persona. Bad Boys back in Detroit.
Could be.
Let's start that marketing campaign now.
Yeah.
One more thing about the Clippers and free agents. I saw a stat today. The best free agent the Clippers have ever signed, Caron Butler.
I could fill it up.
So that doesn't speak highly of.
Well, let's look at the Clippers of yesteryear. It's a totally different,
that's
totally
true.
different ship than sailing right now with Jerry West at the helm.
But it's a bold move. I mean, you strip it all away and you go back. First pick overall.
Big players make big moves, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Top 15 player, but is he a top tier guy? And I think West and Frank are looking at it and saying, we can get rid of a tier 1A, 1B, or tier 2 guy to get a tier 1 guy, or maybe two tier 1 guys.
I'll bet you dollars to donuts that Jerry West has already looked at the class, he knows what he's doing. The high school players right now, who he can draft in 2018, who he can draft in 2019, where he's going to get these guys, who's going to score. He's got the whole blueprint out there.
So much flexibility now with money freed up of 3 picks in the first 2 rounds if it stays unprotected.
Okay. Let's get to the Super Bowl coming up. Philadelphia. I guess Philadelphia doesn't like being the underdog. They were underdogs to Atlanta, underdogs underdogs to Minnesota. Philadelphia was very impressive. That was I didn't see that coming. I thought Minnesota would be a little bit more competitive.
I think Minnesota, with the emotional miracle win the week before,
that's
true.
They
shot all their bullets at that point in time. I mean, that is a tough. I mean, they were exhausted after that.
I knew they would bounce after that win. I didn't think it was going to be that bad, but
I didn't think it was going to be that bad.
But again, it was that one pivotal moment. It was the
pick six.
The pick six. Bad timing, but even then they still had a chance. And after it went 14-7, they're driving late with about 2 minutes left, and then the Keenum strip fumble. Right. That was the game.
They showed it after the pick six, right? I was watching it after the pick six. You saw the look on Case Keenum's eyes, though. His face was like, "Oh no." right? Oh, these guys are for real. That's,
right.
So as soon as I saw
that front line was in his face, in his lap.
as soon as I saw the pick six and the look on his face, it was over.
Yeah.
I told my wife, I'm like, hey, this game's over. I'm out.
Yeah, I wasn't quite there then because they hung around. They found a way to hang into the game, and they were in the red zone when he fumbled. And then that's when it felt like to me, it was like, this is not their day. This is it. This is not
That's
their
gone.
day. They
the
might
Super Bowl.
have been able to recover from the pick six, but not the strip
Not after
fumble.
that.
No.
Yep.
And Foles, I mean, sort of that Chris Taylor thing all over again.
Right.
Nick Foles is a good quarterback. I mean, he's got a huge arm. Yeah. And the aggressive play calling and those big throws down the field, a lot of big plays.
Yeah.
He looked terrific.
Yeah.
He's looked terrific. I wouldn't have expected it, but he has. He's looked terrific.
Uh,
And anybody who watched him in the Pac-12 knew that he had that huge arm. He made some great throws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy's, I mean, physically, he's solid, right? It's just like, but he's going up against Tom Brady,
Right.
right?
He can't let that get. You can't let that get in his head because that New England secondary is bottom third.
Yeah, it's not that.
in
don't have the
yards
numbers this year.
against and yards per catch.
Right.
Yeah, and him going over the top. There's a lot of damage he can do. It's a matter of whether he's got the $1 million arm, multi-million
gotta have
dollar
the
arm,
head,
but he's
yeah.
got
the head,
yeah.
right?
Got the head for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been looking great. He's been looking terrific.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I hope that it continues, right? I want to see a good game.
No, I do too. That's a game that opened at 6. New England -6.
It's crept down a bit.
And it's crept down. Some big, high profile gambling going on.
Right.
The guy who's betting in the multi-million-dollar,
Right.
couple $1 million bet for the World Series, and a couple $1 million bet here.
That Phil Mickelson.
Charles Barkley.
Right.
So that's crept down, obviously. So the 4.5. They're trying to get some of that money back to get it back on the other side. But so that's where it stands now. New England -4.5, over under 48. But not. I can see where bettors are looking at that Philly bet. I mean, obviously New York, Philly metropolitan area. That's obviously people are just going to bet because. They always bet teams like the Lakers.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is you got all that Dallas Cowboy money that's betting. They hate the Phillies so bad that they're betting on it. They're split though because they don't want Tom Terrific to get his next Super Bowl. So Patriots have one more than Dallas, but they're split because they hate the Phillies so bad that they don't want them to win. So.
Yeah, but I guess it's one of those things where I think it's a foregone conclusion. The Patriots and all that. I'll watch it. It's going to be enjoyable. I don't want to see the Patriots win, but I think they're going to. But if you're an Eagles fan or you're somebody who's a fan who not for either team, the way that the Eagles have been converting on third down at about a 60% clip in the playoffs, just crazy.
Yeah,
their front line is terrific. I mean, their front line has just been lights out.
You never know. That's why they're going to play it.
Yeah, that's right. You don't play it on paper.
No.
Jacksonville gave New England a little bit of a scare for a few minutes. They hung right in there pretty tough. Philly might have gained some knowledge from watching that film. I'm not a big Bill Belichick fan, as you probably know. Bill Belichick and my buddy Saban are my two least favorite football coaches. I just don't like the way, I think there's a lot of Patriot lovers and Patriot haters out there, and that's pretty much. I root. You ask me who I'm going to root for. Anybody that's playing.
Yeah. I'm a big Belichick fan only because everything that he's done, right? He always figures out. He hasn't been the Phil Jackson of coaching where he's got all the big stars. He's got, all these big.
Right.
He's got Tom Brady, right? And anyone he can drag off the street. And he surrounds Tom Brady with guys you've never heard of, and all of a sudden with their system, these guys, Amendola becomes Edelman. These guys become superstars because of the system, right? And then they leave, and you never hear about them again.
Yeah.
So I think he's, Tom Brady's, the greatest of all time, maybe the best player of all time, but I think Belichick has absolutely got to get the best coach ever.
Right. And this is where I think that all this nonsense about the chemistry and about the tension. Look, you've got one of the greatest coaches of all time who's just competitive as hell. Right.
Right.
Yep.
And you've got
Can't
a
deny
quarterback
that.
who's just as competitive as hell. That's the exact kind of tension you want. I mean, you know, they're not. This is not petty nonsense. This is just two competitors,
Yeah,
right? And so, who cares about he threw his trainer out, or Belichick's a little pissed they got rid of Garoppolo. Whatever. He doesn't care. They both want to win. I mean, their end game's still the same. So all this nonsense about chemistry, Belichick is the lowest chemical rate of any coach, right? I mean, right? It's all right. Nothing's. He's unflappable.
Yeah.
So who cares? And anytime it's all manufactured, it's all concocted, right? All this nonsense about there's tension, owner, coach, time. No.
They're all three going to be hugging at the end.
That's right.
That's right. That's
Another
right.
trophy.
They know what the prize is.
Right.
They've been there before.
Sort it out afterwards, right?
Yeah. Hug it out. Hug it out later.
Did anybody watch that Pro Bowl game?
What Pro Bowl game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Pro Bowl game?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting in the second half.
It was a bye week for me.
Yeah. Let's move right on to
Who won? I'm not kidding you. I'm being very honest. Who won?
The AFC was 17 points down.
Okay.
They came back and won 24-23 over the NFC.
I saw one play as I was walking through the room my son was playing, and it was Le'Veon Bell, and he took a swing pass, from Alex Smith, and he danced around a little bit, and they played two-hand touch, and then he went towards the sideline, and instead of stepping out, he sort of danced back in, and they blew the whistle. So I figured that was enough, and
Maybe next year they'll do flag football.
Yeah.
Listen, I think the NHL's got it right. I love the 3-on-3.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was
3-on-3
terrific.
is exciting.
That's
terrific.
fun.
I mean,
Should be,
so why not? Let's go 8-man football or 7-on-7 or 3-on-3 even.
Just do a skills competition and put it back in Miami or in Hawaii on the beach and just let them
where there's
throw
no
it
rain.
at golf carts.
Yeah.
Right?
Battle of the Network Stars type tug of war, whatever they do, right?
Exactly.
Let cheerleaders pick the teams or whatever.
Sure, or let cheerleaders be on the field, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
the ratings will go up.
that is a dead duck right now. Nobody gives two rats about that Pro Bowl.
Oh no, yeah. How about the XFL? Have you read anything about that?
Couple of years, right? 2020. There's what they're shooting
2020.
for.
What's that? Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon is
going to try it again.
He's a gambler, and he's putting up $100 million of his own bucks on this.
Yep, that he got from
I've been having some interesting text conversations with buddies about this. It just feels like it's going to be the MAGA league, So we were coming up with some funny names, like the El Paso, build that wall,
right.
Sort of. It sort of feels like it's going to be like that, the Charlottesville tiki torches,
I think it's going to be entertaining, man. That guy is. I mean, he didn't build his fortune by making people turn the channel away.
No,
right.
He is going to build something that people are going to watch.
He gets your attention.
He had some flaws the first go around where the first game and everyone's watching. They blow the line, and then all of a sudden nobody's watching, right? Because the TV went out.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is going to do a good job. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can put on the field.
And just like any leagues that come and try to compete with the NFL, you think the NFL is a staggering giant. Something's going to come out of it, right? Whether it's a couple of players who sort of missed, or some coaches who emerge. Or an innovation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they got. A lot of things from the XFL before. Yeah. They got the sky camera, right, on the camera that sits, on the cabling. I mean, they brought in a lot of great ideas,
right?
It's the miking up the guys, and
right.
I mean, it was
exactly.
If not for the poor quarterbacks getting their heads ripped off every play, the one thing, we're going to let them hit the quarterback. None of that
no fair catch. No fair catch on any punts.
Yeah.
No fair, I mean, he's there for contact. It's entertainment.
And he's got a couple of years to market and promote it. And I mean, the WWE is still huge. I mean, it's
Exactly.
gigantic.
Right.
Exactly.
You just parlay that.
I'm sure that's what he's hoping for.
Absolutely.
Vladdy and Trevor in the Hall of Fame, along with Chipper Jones, Jim Thome, Jack Morris, Alan Trammell, who were chosen by the Modern Baseball Era Committee. But Vladdy, well overdue. I mean, he and now they were the guys on MLB were critical that he's wasn't going to go in as a Montreal Expo. I think that's absolutely insane. I know he played 2 more years there. He had better numbers there because he played 8 years there and he played 6 years in Anaheim. But look what he did with the Angels. I mean, took him to the playoffs 5 out of 6 years. The MVP in 2004.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where he made his statement. Was Anaheim, and I'm glad to see that the Angels are finally going to have a representative in the Hall.
Yep, they'll have first. And I might be in the extreme minority here, but I think the Hall of Fame is turning into the Hall of mediocrity.
I completely agree with you. You're not in the...
What happened to 500 home runs and 300 wins and 3,000 hits? And those numbers have totally gone by the wayside. I mean, if Kurt Schilling is almost in the Hall of Fame, I mean, I mean, these guys they're great players. They're not Hall of Fame. They're not the top 1%.
Yeah, we need to
1%.
define Hall of Fame.
It used to be that, hey, man, you got 500 home runs. That was a big number, right?
Right.
Well, Vladdy came up short. I mean, I love Vlad. Great guy. I love watching him play. I love watching him throw flat-footed from right field and throw some guy out, either at third or throw it into the stands. But, I mean, I love watching the guy play, and I think he's excellent. Do I think he's a Hall of Famer? No.
Yeah, I remember there was again, I agree with that. I also sort of understand what the Baseball Hall of Fame has become. Right. And I'm accepting of it, but you're right. In the scope of things and in context, yeah, I'm happy with Vlad being a Hall of Famer. Is he a Hall of Famer the way that I would have imagined one when I was 12, 13, 14 years old? No way.
He's not Babe Ruth.
No way.
He's not Stan Musial. I mean, I mean, Mike Mussina. They're saying Mike Mussina.
Yeah, Mike Mussina.
It's absolutely nuts.
How does that happen? Right? He should be a Stanford Hall of Famer, right? But not an MLB Hall of Famer. He doesn't have 300 wins.
Yeah, but in context, I get it. In the context of where we are, I get it. I totally get it.
Now, Trevor Hoffman, on the other hand, absolute Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
don't
the guy
think there's
came
any
from
question there.
Savannah High School, right? Cypress JC.
Cypress College, yeah.
Right? And he was a shortstop.
Exactly.
Right? It's shortstop at Cypress. And then he, turned in his career around by getting on the mound. But, I mean, the guy has, the second most saves in the history of baseball?
Yeah,
601.
I agree with that. And I understand, where somebody might think, they'd go the opposite way on it. But that's a reliever's job. And it's sort of the DH, the Edgar Martinez sort of thing, where I just think I'm sort of a purist in that regard, where it's like DH is, what? Don't do anything. I mean, why are we letting him in for just batting? Well, you let relievers in for just relieving, I guess. But Hoffman was terrific. He was a modern day reliever, right? He sort of was at the cusp of when everything was sort of changing and how relievers were being used and what was expected of them and shutting down games. And the Padres would have been absolutely nothing without him.
Right. 600 plus saves, right?
601.
601. I mean,
for some not very good teams,
right?
Yeah, I don't think
those are a lot of 2-1 games, and those are some tight games where he was coming in.
Not a lot of opportunities in San Diego to save games either.
No.
I don't know what his save percentage was off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's very high. That brings up the next point. So Mariano Rivera is definitely he not only is a first ballot, but you might see unanimous.
Right. Yeah, there's never been
unanimous, right?
Yeah.
There's
always a knucklehead.
There's that one guy.
There's one idiot. One guy somewhere. Yeah.
Hopefully that guy is no longer a vote. Right?
There's always that one guy, right, who just wants his name in the.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But then you got these guys too that some of these writers are Barry Bonds and those guys are never going to get in, and I'm not saying whether they deserve it or not, but just due to the fact they were on the steroids. And there's some old school guys that just said,
Joe Morgan put out a
Oh yeah,
a big
fatwa. Yeah,
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Please do not vote for these
That's right.
guys because
That's right.
they are poison in baseball.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, if they're gonna keep Pete Rose out, because I mean, Pete Rose is clearly
He's
the guy
all,
who he is Hall of
the best.
Fame.
He's
I
Hall
mean,
of
he
Famer.
is Hall of Fame material.
Most hits
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. Most hits, and what just a tremendous career.
exactly.
And so if you're going to keep him out on principles like that, okay, keep Clemens and Mons out, do whatever. But they're
Yeah.
all Hall of Famers, and we know that.
Yeah, it's just, it's
Everyone gets a trophy now.
Everyone
gets a plaque.
Everybody's getting a trophy now.
it's just incredible how they, the rules and the guidelines and nothing.
No, but
everything changes.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I was a little surprised when Kenley Jansen came out and said, I'm going to protest to the players' union because of there's nobody's getting signed, free agents. He's got a big fat contract, right? So,
Exactly.
He's speaking from a very comfortable place. But to me, it's a little shocking. It's a little like everybody gets a trophy.
Yep.
That's
You know
right.
what?
Yeah.
Does everyone expect?
No.
Does everyone
Not everyone
deserve,
is you,
right,
Kenley.
Does everyone deserve a $1 million multi-year contract that's way too big that somebody has to unload?
No, does
in 3
JD
years?
Martinez deserve a 7-year?
200, whatever.
$125 million to $150
Contract?
million contract? No.
No.
I think the owners are getting smart, and I think they're seeing the Albert Pujols contract, the A-Rod contract, all these contracts that
Yeah.
are absolute dead for the second half of the.
Yeah.
As a Dodger fan, I love Kenley Jansen, but in this particular case, look, it's fine. Okay, you want to say that. It's like, well, you've got your money, you've earned your money, but it sort of reminded me of the Kobe thing where it's like, I'm not giving any money back.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to give me the full
I'm not
amount of my
Tim-
contract?
I'm not Tim-
I'm not giving
Tim
it back,
Duncan.
and I don't
Right.
think anybody should give any money back. And then Tim Duncan and Dirk Nowitzki are looking at him like, I want to win.
Nowitzki
Right.
played for $10
This
million
isn't a-
or something.
Remember, so we had talked earlier about, about the Dodgers and how they were, Kershaw was lobbying
Kershaw's politicking, yeah.
for Darvish, right?
Yeah.
But you don't see Kershaw saying, hey, I'll take half of my salary, right, and I'll give it back to the Dodgers so they can sign this guy so we can actually
No,
get a ring.
right.
No, what he's saying is, hey, man, I'd love to make this team better. Oh, but not on my dollar.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to give up
Yeah.
$25 million of my own.
Right. And then the
make the
thing
team
that I
better.
would ask him is that, okay, if you guarantee that you're not going to opt out next year, I'll sign him.
Right, exactly.
We'll go over the luxury cap again.
Yeah.
We'll pay that
Right.
competitive balance tax.
Right.
If you guarantee you're not going to opt out.
If I can get a ring because I can get you and
Right.
Darvish under this on the same
Yeah.
rotation with everyone else, why not?
Yeah.
Right? But hey, you got to put your money where your mouth is.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. Darvish is a luxury the Dodgers can't afford right now. They've got talent coming up.
Do they need him?
No. Well, I mean, they could use another righty, but no.
I mean, never have enough pitching, right?
No,
But-
right. I mean,
Right, yeah, but
But they've got
not for his asking
they've got
price.
Kershaw, they've got Wood, they've got Ryu, they got Maeda,
Yeah.
and
Might see Bueller at the end of the year.
Hill,
Yeah, they might
you can see is it Hill, Richdale?
and Hill.
Yeah, they got
So
plenty
they've
of-
got 5 guys.
Yeah, they probably have more than that. I mean, they're
Yeah.
probably
for
7
sure.
to 10 deep
Yeah.
going into spring training.
Right. And so now I think the Dodgers are just hoping that they can have somebody take even $8, $9, $10 million of Kemp's contract,
Right, if they can get
so
Kemp-
they can try and
Yeah.
have a little flexibility, if not now, then when the trade deadline happens in this come late summer. So
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with all those unsigned free agents.
Boy, there's a
who's
ton
gonna,
of them.
Who's going to be the first guy to
Yeah, who
crack,
blinks, right? Yeah, who blinks.
who's going to say, "Oh man, I'll do it for $5 million. I'll do it for $13 million. I'll do it for." I mean, it's a huge number to us, right? And those guys have got to just, somebody's going to crack, somebody's going to blink, like you said, and then it's going to go. But it's going to start tumbling. The salaries will start tumbling.
Yeah.
there's got to be some pressure in San Diego, right? That. I've said it before. Will Myers. I mean, my God, that's the face of your franchise.
Yeah, that's
that's
sad.
Oh my God! And now they want him. If he's the face of your franchise, you're going to move him to the outfield to try and sign
where
somebody.
he's a negative.
He's
WAR.
a total liability.
Yeah.
Total.
He's
liability.
a Mark Trumbo in the outfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Total
Without the bat.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can see that San Diego has that the knees might buckle for them, and they might sign somebody. Ugh.
We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully it buckles at the same time that those other guys buckle, and they can get a good deal out of it.
But the thing is that 7-year, 6-year contracts with the luxury tax, happening, it just doesn't make sense anymore. And that's what's happening. And I think it's something that Kenley Jansen sort of misses, and that is lost on him, that he's a little tone deaf in the sense that the Dodgers have a big, gave him a big contract because they have a big market. They had a big cable, they had a lot of money coming in from their cable deal.
That nobody
can see, right?
Nobody can see, right? Yeah.
But there's a reason why the Dodgers were able to go 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years paying that tax, and a reason that they're pulling back now and dumping salary.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but you see it. The Giants are trying to get back to that place. Everybody is trying to go to get to a place right near that threshold, and that can't be lost on Kenley. He needs to understand that.
Yeah, he's got to be smart enough to.
But you also got to look at all the teams that are actually, just blatantly tanking, right? Pittsburgh Pirates are tanking. Like they're going to become a minor league team.
Miami?
Right, Miami's tanking.
My God.
It's sick to see what these guys are doing, and they should have, a minimum salary that they have to spend.
Yeah.
Right?
There should be a floor.
There should be a floor.
These guys are getting money from all the other big market teams. You should have to reinvest it in, right? And I know that there is something in place, some mechanism in place, but it's not right now the Pirates are like flipping the bird to everyone else, saying, "Hey, we're gonna make $60 million in profit this year because of our moves
and win 14 games."
Right? Yeah, they're gonna lose.
But who's gonna watch them? And who's gonna who's gonna go to games?
There's
in
nothing
Miami.
else to do.
Well, that's true. But in Miami, there's plenty to do. So to me, that fire sale.
The only thing that the Marlins have in their favor is they've done it before, right? The Marlins franchise.
Yeah,
it's new ownership, but they've done it before. They did it when they brought in all these guys.
The model's there.
Yeah. Won it and then gutted it.
Yeah, win, gut, build it up again with all these outrageous contracts because they were smart. They got the win. They signed all these giant contracts knowing that they were only going to pay for the first year. They didn't have to worry about years 2 through 9.
Right.
And, then they just trade everyone off.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they have 2 rings. The Angels have 1.
And everybody's sitting around licking their chops and waiting for what's fallen off of the Marlins table, right? The Brewers, right? Among the benefactors.
Right. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't see any of the other teams that are getting, Stanton for nothing and all these other guys for next to nothing. I don't see them complaining about getting quality players for next to nothing.
Yeah. That's right. If Miami wants to be the Yankees and the Brewers farm system.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, not even a farm system, like superstar developers. Oh boy, that team could have been competitive.
Oh heck yeah!
Oh yeah,
really good with Gordon and Yelich.
The only thing they lost was they lost
Suna,
the pitcher that had
they had some pitching too.
Fernandez.
Yeah, they lost Fernandez when he passed away. In that accident. Other than that, they were 1 player, 2 players away because they were very competitive.
Yeah.
Except they had Mattingly, who I'm not a fan of. He would have found a way to. Well, I won't. I was going to say steer the ship, and after the Fernandez thing, I realized that I shouldn't have said that. Sorry.
A good weekend, good HL All-Star game. A good weekend for the Ducks and Kings.
Raquel and Dowdy and Kopitar were terrific.
Right. Yeah, Raquel and Dowdy both had 3 points, 2 goals, 1 assist. Kopitar had 2 assists. Those guys were huge, and they split up. How many guys do they have on the All-Star team? They split that $1 million up.
11.
11. So it's almost.
They split 11 ways.
It's almost 100,000 apiece.
It's not bad.
Yeah, not bad. For what? I like that 3-on-3, and they only played 2 periods.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a fast game. I love that game.
Quickly becoming a relevant league again, where because they're innovative, right, in what they're doing.
I would have liked a more innovative choice than Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Singing. I thought that was not so innovative, but I love the 3-on-3.
Oh yeah,
and it doesn't surprise me that the West were so good, and the Kings are terrific in 3-on-3 hockey. They have been since the advent of it.
The shootouts, yeah.
But that was fun. I even liked the all white unis.
Yeah, they were pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was different.
I thought it was sharp.
Different. Yeah. SC was 6 straight wins, 8-2, right on Arizona's tail. They're 8-1. Big showdown with UCLA this weekend, and I'm sure Vince hopes that Boatwright is back. He's been missed a couple of games. They could certainly use him. And
he's soft, man. Sitting out with a blister, I think is that what it is?
You run out of bandage.
General soreness. Mike Marshall.
Jeez,
I don't think they even have basketball at UCLA anymore. I think everyone is just gearing up for the Chip Kelly show.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is that why?
That's
UCLA should be better. I keep looking at that team and I look at just the talent, and I don't know if Alford's to blame or I just don't know what it is. But I look at that team and they should just be better.
They should be better.
They should be a lot
used to
better.
be where SC was the football school and UCLA was a basketball school.
Now it's going to flip around.
I like your confidence. I like that. You're dreaming.
Well, I've been talking to a lot of UCLA alum, and I've been talking to some people that are on the inside circle of UCLA, and they are seriously gearing up to become a powerhouse with football. That's their whole motto. They're going to go in and run the table, and they're going to be the Alabama West or whatever. They're going to be the team that is going to be reckoned with.
Good luck. Good luck. That's not. You can say that. You can think that that's how you're going to go and take money from a booster to pay off Mora and bring in Chip Kelly. Okay, I think things have caught up with Chip Kelly. I'm the first one to say that.
Well,
some of that is the USC guy in me,
right?
But some of that is also like,
hey, when he was in Oregon, he was the best,
right? But I think everybody's figured that out.
I don't know. We'll see.
I think somebody's figured that out.
Well,
they never figured it out when he was at Oregon.
No.
Right?
No, they didn't. But there was also a time right at that same time we talked about it on a show that you weren't on, that Saban was complaining about this hurry up and you've got to slow it down because he didn't play that. Right? He didn't play that. But then all of a sudden now Alabama plays that. Right, and they're drafting that way. Excuse me, drafting. Yeah, it seems like a draft.
No, it is drafting.
They're recruiting that. They're recruiting that way, and more teams are recruiting that way. And the Pac-12 is sort of a hurry up.
It's an offensive-minded league.
Even Stanford at times that can put 10 guys on the line. A bunch of guys. 2, 3, 4 tight ends, a couple of tackles. Right. They can sometimes hurry it up as well. With the Costello kid now, everybody's sort of doing that. So if he comes in with some innovations, if he's like the mind, so if he's advanced while he's been off, did a great job in Philadelphia. I thought he was a good pro coach. I think he should try that again after a couple of years.
I think once he takes this national championship in the next couple of years, that'll set him up for one more because he's got an ego.
Okay, let me just stop you right there. You know what? I would be the first one, right?
Yeah.
To walk naked down
with the UCLA
I-405 with the UCLA pennant if that were to happen. There's not national championship talent on that team.
Not yet.
No. And my feeling is that he won't have national championship talent until a time when he's almost ready to leave. I don't think he's a 10-year guy.
I bet he's 3 years. I bet in his third year he's in the top 5 and he'll be in the or top 4 and he'll be in the BCS playoff.
Okay, let's bet. I'll bet you. Okay. I'll bet you on that. I think it's going to be a little bit longer than that. And if the Bruins are patient and they're making improvements and he's getting the guys,
he'll get the guys. People want to play for him. Talk to Travis Johnson. He wants.
Oh, I'm sure people want to play for him. Absolutely, they want to play for him.
Sure,
but there's plenty of guys on this UCLA team that are on scholarship that want to play for him. But he's going to look at them and go, "You're not good enough." And there's too many of those right now.
Right.
This year, next year, I'm thinking even the third year.
He's got to wait till he gets his.
But again, there's so much flux right now in the South.
Right.
There's so much flux going on. Mm-hmm. The Herm Edwards hire baffles me.
Right. Is that what did he? Lose,
I like
did they lose a bet?
It's weird. It's weird. It's
strange.
Like they're trying to put together a reality show instead of a football team. It's really odd.
Maybe that. Show with Jerry Bradshaw. And,
But again, the stability in the South for USC, I think is a little understated right now. Helton, I don't think he's as top notch a coach as Kelly. I don't think he's an X and O guy yet, but he has stabilized this team.
Right.
And if Kelly and Helton were going in for a job interview with, say, Alabama, there's no way Helton would even.
Right.
He wouldn't. He'd be a coordinator or something.
What's
Right?
your thought on the modern day quarterback leaving early to go to SC?
I think it's very interesting, and I don't mind a kid who graduates early as senior year. Right.
Right.
I don't mind that.
But
You get it early for spring,
reclassifying as a senior.
Reclassifying as a senior, it's a little strange. But I look, if he's very good. I mean, he's really terrific.
He's on
he's
the best modern day football team ever.
Yeah.
Right.
And Amon-Ra is a terrific guy, and they're going to be playing together. I'm hoping, he takes a redshirt year, and they build it. He's better than Sears from San Clemente High School. Fink is going to be good enough for 1 year for the Trojans, but I just hope they redshirt him for a year.
No, they'd almost have to. He's not going to get any playing time.
He's a young guy.
He's a pup. Yeah. But he can play.
He can flat out throw it.
Yeah.
And had a lot of talent around him.
He's
and a great offensive line.
More talented than Sam Darnold. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Darnold had the injury, but there was always the suspicion that Darnold was going to be good.
Right.
But you're right.
Yeah.
At this point, Darnold had barely played, as junior season, right? He had barely played.
Right,
He had had an injury. He's very good. But he's not, I don't think he's going to step in right away.
No, I
don't think so.
I don't think that'd be a good idea.
It's a very interesting move, though.
Yeah, it's a very interesting move. And the other thing that's come out is, the NC2A talking about letting guys transfer without having to sit out a year.
Oh, the high school?
Yeah. No, for
college.
when
for
their
college,
coaches when their coaches leave, which to me sort of that's going to change things.
It's going to be
bit.
the Kurt Flood of college football, right? It's going to be they're free agents everywhere now, right?
Right.
It's going to be major recruiting every single year. It's the one and move.
I think the problem for me is that it's those middle schools, those mid-major type of schools that are not that are going to suffer. They sort of nurture this coach who becomes really good, and they start to be able to recruit, and then he goes to a bigger job. It's not going to hurt the USCs, UCLAs, the Alabamas, the Auburns. It's not going to hurt them because they're always going to be trying to upgrade to a coach, right? But it's those Central Floridas that are going to get hurt when they lose their guys.
If a coach has the freedom to leave, I think the players should have the freedom to leave.
Sure.
If the coach that recruited you is going to take a hike, you should be able to leave as well. I mean, I don't see why the kid should be penalized because the guy that brings him in.
For me, the semantics there are, but wait a minute. What if it was the offensive line coach that was recruiting you? You back in the day, those are the guys that were really walking in there and sitting down with you.
I think that what's really going to be exposed is the NC2A is going to be exposed as it's all about athletics, and it has nothing to do with school anymore. Right. And it says it doesn't matter if what the kid's doing, as long as he can he can run a 4.40 or whatever.
Student athlete.
Athlete.
It feels like a reaction to the pay for play sort of thing. To pay these kids to play.
Right.
It feels like, well, we don't want to go there just yet, but let's make it a little more flexible for you to go somewhere else and be able to get financial aid scholarship when you transfer. If the coach who recruited you leaves. It's interesting. It's a fine line. I think in theory it sounds good, but I'm worried. That
it could be
the little guys get tossed out.
Right.
Too bad John's not here to talk a little golf, but Tiger had a fairly decent round in Torrey Pines. Finished 23rd, but I mean he 72, 71, 70, 72, and no signs of any pains or aches or injuries. We'll see what happens. he's got a long way to go, but it was an encouraging step forward.
I don't know about you, Corey, but for me, Tigers won that thing 8 times, right? So just a little under par in 4 rounds there doesn't impress me.
No.
For me, it's like, and any dope who's taking him at 20-1 in the Masters, this year in the futures.
Wow. Yeah, please call me because I'd like to.
I'll
take that.
I'll take the bet for you.
I'll hold that money.
I think sadly enough, I think it's the end of the road for Tiger Woods, and I think he probably should get into the booth like Tony Romo and. Just get in there and use his knowledge of the game for the fans. Because, I mean, if we're celebrating Tiger Woods throwing up a 72, 71, 70, 72, then, I mean, again, everybody gets a trophy, right? That's is right. Complete mediocrity, and that's not Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods' dad is just doing back somersaults in his grave right now. So and it makes me sad because I love Tiger Woods, but
you remember how just the torque of his drives when he was young?
Oh, yeah.
You just marvel at those drives. That's gone. That part of his game is gone. Yeah. Do you want to see Tiger scramble?
No.
To get to 70.
Do you remember
71?
Tiger Woods? If Tiger Woods was in a tournament, I mean, I'm not a huge golfer, right? But I would watch on a Sunday.
Yeah, I would watch.
I knew what he was wearing. I knew he was going to wear red and black. I knew he was going to go in the lead. I knew he was going to go in and absolutely kick the living, tar out of somebody.
Yeah, and if he was within 6 strokes of the lead, he had a chance.
Right.
That's right. Yeah, he's right there. Yeah, it's.
I look at it and I just worry that it's sort of that, farewell tour.
Right. Get in the booth. I mean, let's just have some fun with it.
You could just give us all that knowledge and experience. And,
and get there soon because Tony Romo wants to do golf now, right? So you better get it before
Romo and Woods in the booth.
There you go.
That'd be great.
We touched on the hot stove league a little bit earlier. I really haven't seen anything.
Yeah,
I think the Cubs have offered Arrieta 4 years at $110 million, but he wants.
I think that's a mistake.
Six or he wants 6 or 7.
Good for him. You can want whatever you
God
want.
bless him.
Yeah,
yeah.
I want to be 6'8".
Yeah,
but it's not. I don't think it's feasible, right?
These guys are just going to have to come back down from their plateaus and realize that the money's maybe not going to be there for them.
Decide if you want to play and get a contract. I mean, really. $110 million, you can't spend that all, right?
Exactly.
That's 3 generational money.
4 years sounds like that sounds about right. I mean, it's a negotiation, right? You ask for 7, they say 3. You ask for 5, they say 4, and you'll figure it out. And Arrieta's fine enough, right? I mean, he's fine. That's fine. I look at the free agents that are out there, and you want stuff to happen.
Yeah,
the free agents that are out there, it's like I hope they don't get the kinds of contracts that they're asking for. Look, the Brewers were fine with Kane. Signing Kane and then getting Yelich. I mean, that was all right. Yeah. That was good. I mean, Kane got a good contract, not a over the top
5 years. 5 years, $80 million. Was it?
Yeah. I thought that was fair. That seemed right.
I think that's a generous contract.
I think that's generous. But some of the
I'd love to see
7 years.
I'd love to see half these guys without work when the season opens.
There's going to be a large number, but like I said, I think that something will crack. I mean, these guys want to play. When it gets down to it, they get nervous if they're not in a spring training camp on the 14th.
And look, it's early. All right, I mean, it's early enough. There's still time to sign a guy before spring training. Okay, but if JD Martinez is turning down 5 years from the Red Sox, what's he thinking?
I don't know. He's got, is he a Boris guy?
I think he is a Boris guy.
Yeah, the Boris is a lot of the guys.
I'm not a big fan of Boris unless he represents me or my kid.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, you'll love him then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's got his hold on a lot of these. I see now where I think the Padres were hoping to sign Hosmer. I think they offered him 7 years. I
saw today that the Royals made some moves, right? They shipped Moss off to the Athletics so they can free up some salaries so they can get Hosmer back. Hosmer's a homegrown kid. They want to keep him around.
They offered him, I think, 7 years, $147 million, which is that's reasonable.
Take it.
How do you not take that?
Take it.
Yeah. You could buy the state of Kansas for that much.
Deal.
Yeah,
Deal. Shake my hand.
Right. Take it or Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah. I mean, what
hit you on the way out.
Right.
You're not going to get another year from the Padres, right? The Padres aren't going to give you another year.
No.
They might give you more upfront money.
Plus, you got to also think about it. If you're in Kansas City, you've got the shortest travel schedule of anybody.
Oh,
in the
exactly.
league,
That's
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the less wear and tear. You're in Kansas City, so you're in the Central Division. So what do you have to contend with? You're
Yeah.
gonna have to play the Twins,
Yeah.
and the Cleveland
White Sox?
Native Americans.
You go to Chicago.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty easy travel.
Right.
Yeah, the only other baseball thing that I wanted to interject was that I saw that MLB was rating their top left-handed pitching prospects, and Colby Allard from San Clemente High School, who's in the Braves organization, is number 7.
Oh, terrific!
And he pitched 27 starts at the AA level,
Wow.
and I think he's making the 40-man roster.
He's got an invite to big league camp.
Yeah, so there you go.
Good for him. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, terrific. And I just remember, obviously I'm friends with the coach at San Clemente, and watching Colby's, progress and his coming out party down at Petco when he struck out the
Right.
side and really elevated his game. And just hearing the stories from my buddy
Galatly.
Coach Galatly saying,
Right.
he comes in and he's throwing 85, and then he takes a little break, and then he goes to this, this classic in Petco,
Right.
and he's throwing 92,
Right.
right? And and it caught everybody's attention.
Right.
He was
Exactly.
a first-round pick.
Yeah. He had a bunch of picks on that team.
He had the two
Yeah, the
picks.
catcher,
He had the
right?
catcher, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so he's got a few,
This year he's got a nice little team as well.
We'll see. He's always sort of the Eeyore over there.
Right. Yeah. Eeyore, and then he gets 21
Yeah,
wins.
exactly.
He's 21 and 3.
Exactly.
Right?
He's a 300 win guy. He's won 300 wins in his career, over 300 wins now. So he's been there a long time, and he always puts together a good program. He's a
Yeah,
good baseball
sounds
man.
Very
like
good
it.
baseball man.
And he's got
Respect him
he's got that infielder who transferred from
Laguna Beach.
Laguna Beach, and the kid can mash.
Yeah, the kid's for real.
The bat speed, exit velocity, what some of those spotlights. He could be
crunch,
good.
huh?
Yeah. He's going to anchor that lineup. It'll be nice.
Yeah.
You see where Capo Valley's putting out a bobblehead for Kyle Hendricks?
That's
Oh,
great.
Chicago
That's
Cubs.
great.
It's awesome.
Picture of it in the paper today. Yeah, they're going to. The father met with a fellow that is involved in that business, and there's a picture in the register today where he's going to use a Capo Valley jersey, the jersey that he
awesome.
wore when he played there, the number that he wore, and they're going to sell him, I think, for $25. The school's going to get, athletic department's going to get $10 out of every sale.
That's great.
And it's a kind of a good idea. They're thinking about doing it now for the who's the coach over there? He's been there for a long time, 39, 40 years at Capo. Is it Mora?
Zamora, yeah.
Zamora.
They're thinking about maybe doing one for him next. So
That's great.
That's
One
great.
other bit of
Forever.
news that I saw today, and it's up my way. That's the reason I saw it. Is we got Troy Thomas coming back to Servite.
That's
football.
right. Servite, right.
That is
That's a shock.
That's
big
huge.
move.
Yeah, it's a
I
good
think
move.
that puts Servite back on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, he left there to go to the back to the
Crespi.
Valley. And
He
then
went
came-
back to Crespi, and
came-
then
no,
so
came
he's
back.
ping pong back and forth. He started
Yeah.
at Crespi, went to Servite, went back to Crespi, come back to Servite.
Yeah.
He always gives about a good 5-year. He gets 4 good years out of it. And the 5th year he takes a little bit of a dive and then moves.
Hmm.
But I'm excited that Troy's back. Welcome back to the Credo, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
That's
Maybe
cool.
we can
Yeah, it's good.
compete with some of these Trinity League teams.
Yeah, that was big news. Big news.
Do you guys want to talk about the Cavs at all? The turmoil and LeBron and what might happen free agent wise, or is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the
Old
only
news.
thing that I have to say about that is that that's good news for the Clippers now that they're, and part of probably why they're trying to free up some space and get some flexibility. Who knows who's calling the shots? They say that the owner's calling the shots over there
Is he
now.
sell, I thought that team was up for sale.
Gilbert. No, but I think it is they've been to the finals how many times now in a row? Or LeBron James has been
Three,
to the
yeah.
finals, and he's bored. The regular season for him is boring, right? So it's all this other stuff is like he's just he's a kid. The kid in class is smarter than everyone else, and he gets in trouble, right?
Yeah.
So LeBron James is the kid that he's bored during the regular season. They're going to step it up. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be in the finals against the Warriors, and you'll see that the Cavaliers magically have come together as a team, and it'll be a great series.
I think if you're a Cavaliers fan, you're just wondering if that really does happen. I mean, the Celtics are tough.
Yeah.
Celtics are tough. Danny
Imagine how tough they would be if they had
Celtics are
Hayward.
tough.
Yeah,
If they had Hayward, they would really be a monster.
absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, and their coach, Brad Stevens,
Great coach.
terrific.
Doing
Yeah,
a great
terrific.
job.
I love to
Great
see, and I'm a Laker fan as well, and I hate to see the Boston Celtics do anything right,
Right.
but they're doing it all right.
Yeah.
Building a great
Absolutely.
great franchise again over there.
Yeah, and it's right about now. I would have preferred to have Jason Tatum over Lonzo Ball.
Yeah. Well, for more than one reason. I see where. Did you see where LeVar now is coaching a 5-game friendly series over in Lithuania? These games don't count, and his kids are getting massive playing time.
Yeah.
And what is?
Yeah, and now apparently now he's the expert, and he's calling Steve Kerr
Right.
the Milli Vanilli of coaching.
I refuse to give him any
Airtime.
airtime.
Yeah.
We just did.
John.
I know.
John.
That's
John
all
feels the same way, and it's a big.
He's coaching in Lithuania.
Yeah. That's all you have to say.
Let's talk about the Polish girls softball coach too.
Yeah, and but as a guy who's in marketing, it's like, okay, a guy who scored 3 points, a game in his career, in college, and never
Washington or
did
Washington
anything.
State, yeah.
If he's such
this
a
is
great
where he
coach,
is,
has
man.
he not seen Lonzo Ball shoot? I mean, how do you not fix that from
From high school.
right
Or
or
before
from
that.
from the AAU ball?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Come on.
All right.
That is just one of those things that just screams like this kid has so much raw talent that if you just fix the shot, if you hadn't been such a dope, if you just fix the shot, how really good could he have been?
Oh, can't even make a free throw.
No, he's been dreadful. At
Can't
the
even
free
make
throw.
a free
And he
throw.
has a mystery injury now, right? It's a sprained MCL.
He's won a few games without him.
He's small. He's young. Maybe he's still growing.
They don't win anything with him.
Not yet. Not
Well,
yet.
Vince had the article before the draft. Please, Lakers, don't draft
Yeah. I agree
Lonzo
with you,
Ball.
man.
And you were right. You were right on.
Yeah, but as a fan, you know that he can as he grows, gets older, he could be pretty good. I don't think he's a perennial all-star. I don't think he's an MVP type of guy. I'm really nervous about what the front office is going to do at this point.
Do you think that the fact that the baggage, the old man, that might affect free agents coming to the
Absolutely.
Lakers?
Well, I don't
why-
want
why-
that question.
Why
Who
would
wants
you?
to be part of that circus,
Yeah,
right?
circus, exactly.
That's right. Magic Johnson and Luke Walton and everybody in Rob Pelinka said it's not. This kid's a grown up. It's
Right.
he's going to shut his mouth, and the fact that he hasn't, and that they have no
They
control
have a
over it.
LeVar rule, right? They have a
Right,
LeVar
right.
rule that he can't be in the arena, or he can't, talk to any
Right,
reporters.
can't talk
on
to
it.
reporters
I mean,
in
come
the-
on, that's ridiculous.
But he's still getting press time
Right.
doing whatever nonsense he's
And we're
doing
still
in
talking about
Lithuania.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, we have anything else that I might have overlooked? You guys want to?
I think we're good.
We're good. Well, that'll be a wrap for today. We'll be back next week. Corey going to be with us, or do we know yet?
Well, we'll have to figure out where John Adams is. Where is John Adams?
Okay.
Where in the world is?
John Adams? Yeah. You need to have a little
San Diego.
John Adams bobblehead.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, on that note, we are out.
Good night.